Hey guys, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio. Today's exercise is building on our thoracic spine rotation, particularly the assessment side of it. You might use this as a bit of a warm-up, but it's not necessarily something that you'd have to do to create capacity. It'd be more of like a, can I get the joints going through their ranges? Some of this stuff is flavored a little bit with the FRC and CARs, or controlled articular rotations. I'm not sure on their exact assessment process, haven't taken the course, but having seen what they're doing and then also looking at other things around biomechanics and around movement, I've kind of put what I think is my own twist on it. If that's wrong and you've seen it somewhere else, let me know so I can reference them appropriately. But this is a way that I assess some thoracic rotation. It'll also reveal obviously other limitations. So, what you need is a wall, a floor, and the ability to be upright. And you can go one of two ways. You can start by going backwards, or you can start by going forwards. Both of them are going to require the rotation in different ways, just because the start position changes forward versus back in terms of where you need to anchor from and where you need to create movement from. The trick is that the pelvis isn't coming along for the ride. So if you feel like you can't control your pelvis, then go down to our half kneeling version, which you can find by searching on our channel, like half kneeling rotation, and I'm going to work on that first, and then you progress up into this, okay? It requires a little more control, this version. So if I start by going forward, let's do a couple demos of forward and back, and then we'll talk about the ins and outs of it, all right? So if I go up, and then I start to go backwards, I need to think about how I'm achieving this, okay? Coming back down, and then going backwards. Okay? So when I rotate, as a human, we're rotating on this axial spine. We're in the transverse plane, all right? This is our axis. It's not over here. It's not over here. If I can't keep upright, like the mast of a ship, I can't stay solid here, then as I start to rotate and mass is shifting, depending on where the tug of war starts to win, I'm going to bias that side. So if I'm going this way, maybe it's my left-sided obliques or spinal erectors. Maybe they don't want to be loaded eccentrically, so I shorten them up to keep them nice and safe. Maybe the opposite side, maybe the right side doesn't want to stay short and concentric, and so I take them into a lengthened position because that's where they're happier. To be able to rotate though, full range, I need to be upright and in this nice solid position to spin axially, right? The tricky part with this one is that my hips are going to want to come for the ride a little bit. So what you can do is either control your hips and stop them rotating. So you got to counter rotate, right? If my thoracic spine is going to the right, my hips need to counter rotate to the left. If that feels too tricky, then come into this split stance position, because that's going to bias my legs and hips to the left, or go back down to our half kneeling one that we're talking about. And it means I don't have to think as much about controlling my hips. But there's going to come a time and a place where you want to think about your hips. You want to develop that rotation, that tension control of counter rotating. So think a lot about that. Are my hips staying square? The second thing is that sideways bend, right? Maybe I'm coming to here, but I'm realizing, whoop, I can't get any further unless I get further away from the wall, and now I'm creating a rotation. And a lot of people might chase the shoulder inflexibility, but can you notice that what I'm doing, if say the wall's here, I'm doing that side flexion we were talking about, that it's probably less of a shoulder issue and more of a spinal issue about staying upright. If you've had a local shoulder injury, then yes, there's probably some stuff you need to address there, but that can also be affecting the rotation capacity of the spine, depending on how you've decided to anchor your shoulder and your shoulder blade off of your spine through the injury rehab process. So it's not that this is a bad thing to do, just be mindful that if you're hitting blocks, this isn't the best exercise to try to improve and get through those blocks. Get back down to the ground and do some different versions where you can actually demonstrate the full range and then build up the capacity. And once you have the capacity, then you can start working on it here with reps to fatigue, okay? So thinking about that, being honest with where you're at, meet yourself with where you're at, and then progress onwards as you're able to demonstrate good skill. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.